Okay, Aquarius, welcome to your April reading. Hope this finds you well. And it is an intense time, so I hope that the reading can pull through some interesting concepts to digest and prepare you for the month ahead and allow some beautiful self-awareness, self-reflection. And as always with intuitive information, sometimes it's just a conversation that creates contrast, which is it's totally fine if you listen to what comes through and say, no, that's not right for me. It's almost like digesting the information and then coming to a place of ownership of what it means for you. And it's okay if it's not accurate or anything like that. It's more just a conversation with your higher self so that you can find a greater level of truth. So, Aquarius, let's see what we have for you. We'll do a 3-card reading, so almost like a story, a 3-layered story, and then we'll pull a shadow card on top so that you can have pre-exposure to the shadow work that might show up for you so that you're not blindsided or triggered or we really just want you in a receptive state for shadow work. So it's like this might be coming, stay curious, stay aware. So when it shows up, you have the ability to move into it and explore it. What rather than reject it, repress it, control it, say, nah, can't do that. I can't admit that I'm wrong, or I can't open that door. Shadow work asks us to really go to the uncomfortable places, not to prove that that's who we are, just to explore, right? Just to open the door and have a look and say, oh, okay, yeah, it feels uncomfortable, but I think there is a little bit of truth in here for me. And then I can integrate that into who I am and be better off for it. We would call this wisdom. So the most wise people are usually the ones that have the ability to sit down with themselves, understand what went right, what went wrong, who they are, who they're not, the comfortable parts, the uncomfortable parts, and then integrate that into, I don't want to be in that situation again, or I want to learn from something different, or I want to be something different. They're usually the wise people. And that naturally happens over time with age, hopefully. But naturally, that's a progression we go through, particularly when the humble place of our bodies start to become less mobile, less capacity for all the different things. That humbleness brings in a natural ego death. And that's what's meant to happen. But it doesn't mean you can't go after wisdom as a very young person. But most people, or most of us, while we're still young, we move around too quickly. We don't actually sit down and digest the things that have happened. We will call this processing. We don't process it. We don't compartmentalize it. We don't integrate it. But if we can explore that, we can gain wisdom from every event in our life and every situation and every experience. We can even gain wisdom from other people's experiences and turn that into, well, what do I want that information to mean for me? And can I slow down enough to say those parts, like, I don't want to repeat that. I don't want to have to go through that trauma again. So what does wisdom tell me about how to keep myself safe? And how would I protect myself if I was in the same situation? This is wisdom, right? Okay. 3-card story. Looking good, Aquarius. Might be difficult. Oh, looking very good. Okay. So first of all, let's honor what it takes to be in connection with other people. This could represent females in your life. It could represent being around the right females, the sisterhood, soul sisters, whatever that means. It could just mean celebrating with other people, but there's a feminine quality to it. And I guess the cups have a more feminine quality anyway. But what does it mean to be in connection, not just one-on-one? This is not the 2 of cups. This is the 3 of cups. So what does it actually mean to be connected to a group and supported by that group, so that when you have a win, they celebrate you. They are your cheerleaders. There's no competition here, right? There's no drama here either. There's no backstabbing. There's no gossiping. There's no shadow feminine at all. This is pure connection with other people that are in touch with their feminine side. That could be men as well, to celebrate, to guide, to support. This is where we're starting, Aquarius. Do you have this in your life? Do you need more of this? Is it coming in for you? Are you digesting what it means to be in a group of women or surrounded by powerful women, right? So if you're a guy and you're thinking about those feminine qualities, and you might go straight to the women in your life, do you have powerful women around you, feminine women that are pretty switched on and they know themselves and they know what it means to be in that feminine role? Because they will be the right grounding for you to go into your healthy masculine. Or if you are a woman, do you have sisters around you? And I mean people that you're deeply connected to, with no backstabbing, no competition, none of that dodgy stuff that they teach us. It's really like, do I feel held by the women in my life, and am I showing up to be someone that can hold space for them? And do I have enough of that? Or if I'm honest with myself, could I take some more? You might say, well, I've got a couple and I'm really grateful. Okay, well, what would it feel like to have more? And what would it enrich in your life if you did have more strong, powerful females around? Not just a role model to you, but so that there are reflections around of what being a woman can be, or for men, so there are reflections around of what divine feminine looks like. Because strong men facilitate strong women. So it's when you're in healthy masculine presence that you have the ability to go into your divine feminine magic. And women in divine feminine, in healthy divine feminine, give their men an opportunity to go into their healthy masculine. But if we're hanging out in the shadow feminine, which is controlling, nagging, backstabbing, isolating, all of that stuff, then we invite that in our men as well. And they go into emasculated states, not feeling confident, empowered, not providing, not going out there and having purpose in the world, not going out there and hunting the right things, which means we don't gather the right medicine either. So it's really about bringing that into balance. But this has a focus on the feminine part, right? So are you honoring your divine feminine? Are you feeling connected to it? Are you feeling intuitive and creative? And are you nourishing yourself and those around you and the earth and your environment? Do you have that capacity? Or are you in fight and flight and you're actually a masculinized woman, which I think we're all trying to recover from? But are you focused on money and structure and achievement and all of these yang concepts? And who are you calling in? Are you calling in masculinized women? Are you calling in emasculated men? It will be a reflection of where you're at. Yeah. So let's just open up the conversation, which I know you like, Aquarius. Let's innovate what that means, because if we can, we have the opportunity to go into an awakening moment, which means if I can properly judge or come to a conclusion about my own masculine feminine balance and the women around me and those themes around me, then I can awaken to a higher state of consciousness around it, right? So if I could admit to myself that I could really work more on my divine feminine and be a more relaxed and nourished and creative woman, and in that there is power, feminine power, and I can properly support those around me rather than ridicule or compete or isolate, then I can actually come to a judgment about my life and awaken into the next level of evolution, which is I'm going to go after that. I'm going to go after balance for myself. I'm going to attract powerful women and not feel intimidated by that. I'm going to nourish other people. I'm going to be in that role. I can be both supportive and sovereign at the same time. I can be masculine and feminine at the same time. I can achieve and provide for myself as well as nourish and nurture myself. And I can provide that for other people. Balance is the key here. And this card talks about coming into a grounded sense of judgment. It's not being judgmental because you fear. It's not projecting judgment out and judging people. It's actually like, what is a grounded judgment about my relationships? Are they healthy? Are they fulfilling? Do I have the right people around me? Is my inner circle inspiring me into the person I want to be? Because we know that there's influence there. Am I in touch with enough people that are providing the right environment for me to flourish, and vice versa? Am I being that person for other people? Am I inspiring others in my actions, in the way that I do things, the way I show up for them, the way I invest, the way I treat myself? This card is actually very potent. And if we can get that conversation grounded and take a proper judgment of our lives, we can go into happiness, fulfillment, right? We can generate energy and know what it feels like to be engaged and sovereign and vital in our lives. They say this is the happiest card in the deck. I'd like to bring it into what it feels like to feel natural joy, hopefully fairly often. I don't think we can sustain a happy and joyful state all day, every day. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, personally. That's my judgment. But finding effortless states of joy more often and basking in joyful moments, I think, is a place that would show us that we're healthy and happy and connected. So a nervous system that is regulated, when a heart emperor is in charge, we will find states of connection and trust and joy more often, and things will light us up. But if we don't have the right parameters, if we don't have the right environment, if we don't have the balance in our bodies, even when a joyful moment is being witnessed, we can't find the joy. It doesn't, the neurotransmitters don't go off in the body. We don't make, the heart doesn't sing. We don't have that experience. And joy is really a flushing, isn't it? It's just an ecstatic place that then changes. It doesn't have to be rolling around in laughter for 3 hours. Although that's medicinal, it really can be, you know, watching a flower bloom, or the joy of a bee finding the perfect flower is just beautiful for me, or listening to a bird sing, or watching a child play, or witnessing someone you love laugh. It can be very simple, can't it? But if we're not finding those states, if we have a lack of joy, and if you can be honest with yourself, I haven't experienced joy for a very long time, or I've been in a low mood for a very long time, we go back to the original card, which is, do I have the right women around me? Do I have the right set and setting for joy to be experienced? What is the judgment on my life that I need to face? And a lot of the time, this card shows up when I'm not making a act and sound judgment about my life. It comes through saying, like, is this right for you? Are you sure? Are these people right for you? Is this the right influence you want? Or are you listening to negativity and discourse and gossiping and sabotage? And is that filling up your fields with the wrong influence? Are we getting closer to joy? Are the people around you joyful? Can they celebrate a win? And therefore, is that inner circle representing more joy in your life? Because this stuff is incredibly important, isn't it? Otherwise, we need boundaries, and we need an investment list of, like, who in our lives can we invest in safely to know that we're going to get that influence, and we can share from a place of respect, and we can celebrate our wins together. And are you being vulnerable enough to say, hey, I'd really like to let you know that I achieved something that's really important for me. And I'd really love that to be witnessed, right? We need cheerleaders in our lives. We do. Oof, shadow aspect for you comes through as the owl, number 3. We have a theme of 3s, if that means something to you and you love your numbers. So the owl's instinct, the owl's intuition is one of the sharpest. The owl can see in the dead of night its prey, and it can hunt its prey without anyone even hearing its wings. It is stealthy. Now, when this comes through, I've got a lot of students with an owl totem, birth totem particularly. Those instincts are sharp, but they can be difficult to master. So trust your instincts. Think about the people in your life and think about the person you need to be for them. Make a judgment and let the owl's instinct say, you know the truth. You know the truth. It might be the truth of, is that person good for you? Are you being your truest self? Are you showing up for anyone? Are they showing up for you? Are you giving them the opportunity? Do you have healthy boundaries? Or are you going into a place that is actually not going to light you up? Are you going further away from joy? And how are the people in your life taking you there? Make those judgments, trust those instincts. The owl doesn't muck around. The owl's instincts on people particularly is profound. The owl knows. The owl can see through to the truth, even when you're not ready, right? So navigate yourself through that. Be honest with yourself, be grounded, change the patternings if you need to, change your behaviors. If you have some shamanic skills, call on the owl, talk to its spirit and say, what are you trying to tell me that I might not be ready to hear? Tell me the truth and I promise I will do something about it. So if they show you the truth of a situation, of a person, of a job, a relationship or whatever, trust it and say, okay, if I make the judgment that this part of my life feels unhealthy, and the owl keeps on taking me there, and it could be an owl in your environment that comes in to meet you. It could be an owl feather that you find. It could be an owl that you see online. But trust when it shows up and say, I want to know the truth. And the truth is difficult. But remember, we want the heart emperor in charge. We want your heart to be receptive to joy. Right? Okay, Aquarius, I love you so much. I'll see you next month. Bye.